Hello everyone, this is Malika, the author of How the Best Invest, Make Confident Decisions Like the Investing Superstars. Today I wanted to talk to you about the telecom slugging matches you're seeing in the financial papers. Companies such as Huawei, the Chinese company, and Tik Tok, the Chinese company, they're being banned or their use being limited in the US by the European governments and also now by India. Telecommunications is basically connecting people and goods and services over bandwidth. We started off with telegraph lines, which was just point to point across a physical line conveying information, and then we morphed into telephone lines, which is connecting multiple people over a telephone hardwired network. And now, of course, we've gone into the wireless age, and where we have cellular frequencies, where we have information sent over cellular frequencies. If you think back to our car phones from the 1980s, to our Nokia phones in the 1990s, to our Blackberries in the noughties, to our smartphones and iPhones now, we've gone from 3G to 4G, and now 5G is coming on board. And all it is that those zeros and ones, that the packets of data are being sent faster and faster, and there's more of them being sent across that same exact bandwidth. So the bandwidth has not changed. The countries controlling the bandwidth hasn't changed. What's changed is the throughput. And what does this remind me of? This reminds me of the shipping lanes and shipping routes that we fought for hundreds of years to control goods and services and people connecting over continents. If you think about it, Columbus discovered America because he was trying to find a different shipping route to the East Indies for spices. The Dutch and the English fought each other in the spice wars across the Straits of Malacca. The English and French fought each other for centuries about control of the English Channel and the Atlantic shipping routes. And this is all about the control of shipping lanes. And now we have a similar situation where we have these cellular frequencies, and that's how our goods and services move. And we have now trade wars instead of physical wars. Governments have tried to control people using religion. They've tried to control people using nationalism. And now, of course, it makes sense that they can control us using our addiction to cell phone technologies. So wars are ugly, brutal, and identity-based. They tend to last 3 to 4 years, and traditionally there's been a massive loss of life. Now I believe we're moving into a trade war type of era, where it will be ugly, brutal, and identity-based, but we'll have a loss in revenues rather than a loss in life. So as you're confronting this, I think there's a couple of things to keep in mind. One, technology keeps moving forward. So you had hundreds of years with these shipping route wars and shipping lane wars, but we went from frigates and sailing ships to steamships to destroyers and warships, to now we have these containerized ships that are just massive, and but using the same exact shipping lanes. And in the same way, we had cellular technology. We had your Nokia phone from the 1990s compared to our iPhone. It's the same bandwidth. The technology's gotten bigger and bigger and more and faster and more complex. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The second thing to keep in mind is that telecom infrastructure stays the same. So in the shipping lanes, we still have the same harbors, New York Harbor, Portsmouth. We're still using those same harbors today as we did hundreds of years ago. And in the same way, despite cellular technology changing, we'll still use the same base stations, the same points of sale. So in looking at these wars and in terms of investing, infrastructure is a good place to look.